Hey everyone, so I'm gonna do, I don't know if it counts as an unboxing since it came in a bubble mailer of all things, but I'm going to unpackage, I guess, the new Blu-ray CD 2-pack of Halsey's movie, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. I put movie in quotation marks because the thing's not feature length, and having seen it before, it's more of a series of music videos with a loose plot than a movie, but it did premiere in IMAX for like a couple days screenings. There are a couple IMAX theaters around me, but they didn't come to the two closest ones. There's one in the town I live in, but it didn't come to that one, and there's one in downtown Raleigh, but that's technically at a kids museum, so they don't show anything that has an R rating, and the movie was rated R for an abundance of nudity and a little bit of violence. So the closest place it was a little outside of my driving distance, so I didn't see it then. I ended up seeing it, somebody had put a pirated copy on the internet when it streamed later on Moment House, and then later it was dropped on HBO Max. So I was able to watch it there in a proper copy. But finally they released a physical media thing. I was hoping they would do it in 4K UHD, and maybe they'll still do that later since they've also released the album in a number of different releases with extra tracks and different colors and all the stuff that artists do because they don't make any money from streaming of the music, so they have to sell as many like rent physical copies and merch as they can. I guess I'm not really the market or the intended fan base for Halsey. I'm a man who's knocking on the age of 40, and I think most of her fan base is probably young females, I'm guessing. So it's a little odd that I'm a fan, especially because, for those of you who know me, and if you don't, I'll explain it here, my musical taste is pretty trapped in the 80s and 90s. The last concert I went to a couple months ago was the Gin Blossoms, to give you an idea of like my music taste. I do like some like modern rock stuff. I'm a big fan of Rammstein, and stuff like that, but most of my taste is like 80s new wave and some of the 90s stuff that I grew up with, and not so much like the new stuff. Most of new music I just kind of find is, you know, dribble or whatever. But I was first introduced to Halsey when she was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live. I usually fast forward through the musical guests because, again, they're usually not to my liking. But my fiance liked some of her songs, and so she made me not fast forward to them, and I found when she performed this solo, just her cover of East Side while she's like painting this thing, I thought that was a really cool song, and I liked that her, so after that I sort of went through her discography, and I ended up being a huge fan because unlike a lot of other modern music, I think her lyrics are a bit richer and stuff like that. And then her last album I really liked, so she had Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross do some of it, so it had a bit more of a rock industrial edge to it, even though it still sort of fits into that pop stuff. But that's my fan base thing, and that's why she's like one of the outliers of like modern music that I like, whereas most modern music I can't fucking stand. This special edition, and I will unbox it and show it. I'm sure most of you have already fast-forwarded back that if that's all you're interested in. When it went up for sale, and it was kind of a surprise, I'm just on Halsey's merch email notification list and whatever, so that's how I got it, plus following her on Twitter. But it sort of reminded me of when A24 dropped the Midsummer Director's Cut for Region A, where they just sort of dropped in overpriced, bare bones with extras, but super detailed, or super, like, extra copy, where it was just, it's a bare bones of the disc. There's no extras on it to speak of. There's barely even a menu. But they have like a special booklet and the special packaging and all of that stuff. I didn't have a 4K player at the time, so that's why I got the Blu-ray version. Hindsight 2020, I probably would have gotten the 4K, but it didn't come with both discs. It was one or the other. So without further ado, let me just open up this and I'll showcase it and show you what it's all about and all that good stuff. And then maybe I'll pop it in and see what the discs look like and everything. I was wondering, you know, since they are just putting the movie on here anyway, they could have also put the Moment House concert stream as well, which is mostly available on YouTube anyway, but okay, so that's that. So, this is sort of what it looks like. I'll take the plastic off and show it more, but see if the glare is a little much here, so I'll take off the plastic. But basically there's the H logo and like filigree and all of that stuff. And you'll see it better when I take that off. And then there is on the back the heart and a sword. It says, if I can't have love, I want power. And there's the little, UPC code and all that stuff. But let me take the plastic off so that you can see it without the glare. This is actually very similar to the Midsummer one. Like, the case feels the same. It might roughly be the same size as well. But this definitely took cues off of that. In fact, let me pull up. So this is, I think, thinner and taller. This is a bit thicker. Yeah, so... Oh, no, actually, I think they are about the same size. Well, just about. I feel like the Midsummer one is a little narrower. But they're roughly the same size. But the material, if you felt it's sort of like a book felt material, that is exactly the material that you can feel on here. It's like that. So anyway, you can see the front a little bit better as I try to put the lighting in my living room to this. So we got a 4, we've got a 17 down here. I don't know the meaning. I know it's the 4th album, so that makes sense. But so we got that on the front. On the closed side, we have just the, I don't know if my camera will pick it up because it's black on black, but it's the H4 logo for her 4th album. Nothing on the bottom, nothing on the top. It slides out through here, so I'll slide that out in a second. And then on the back, it is, if I can't have love, I want power, basic heart, almost sacred heart logo. Let's pull it out. So this is the front of the book portion. It's the same material as the outer case. So here we got a book with a sword, and it's got 2 things, and there's a couple other logos. It's very hard to show because it is just sort of like embossed black on black, but I'm trying to make the light work for me so that you can see what it looks like. So we got the various different logos at the top. We got this artwork over here. Nothing on the side, by the way, in the number 4 there. And then on the back, we've got some credits, and it says, in the name of love, for the sake of power. On the center, nothing at the top. And over here we have basically the name and then the credits. So we got director, written by, album produced by, starring, co-starring, and design and direction by. So some minor credits here if my camera will show and will focus. So on the front we have the front of the book, and we have one disc which just says H4. Now I don't know which disc is the Blu-ray and which one is the CD, but we have this one which just says H4 and it's in the front. I'm assuming that's the Blu-ray. And then on the back we have a disc that's in a pocket for some reason. I don't know why they just didn't make it, because I don't like the pockets because then you can slide them and scratch them. Maybe that's the CD though. But it looks to be a fetus. Now let's see if I can take it out. And yeah, I believe this is the CD. It looks like it's a CD on there, but it's basically a fetus gestating in the womb, and that's what that looks like. So I think the one at the front is the Blu-ray. And then in there is a book. Now I can't show you all of the pages of the book, mainly because I know there's going to be pictures with nudity, because the movie has a copious amount of nudity. It's the main reason I got the R rating. The uncensored album cover, so if you bought the album at a place that wasn't like Walmart or Target, has nudity. So, but I'll show you a little bit of it. So the book itself, it's attached kind of like this. It feels like glossy, like a nice coffee table book's pages or magazine. Yeah, pretty much. Looks like it's kind of maybe not super solid in there. But there's some words from Halsey on the back here. Let you pause and read if you so choose to. Let's see what I can show you from here. So we got there's some basic on-set or publicity photos, some of which you may have seen from the album or from other artwork, things like that. Yeah, the pages are glossy, so they're all pretty reflective. So there's different pictures of different cast members. Yeah, there's some nudity there. There's yeah. So mostly, yeah, there's just a lot of glossy stills. Sometimes there's a full pager. Like as you can see here, this is a full pager there. So you got the glossy pictures, and then I know there's some artwork in here from Halsey herself, because I know she did the artwork for her poetry book and stuff, but it looks like it's mostly, the book is mostly photos. And then we get to here, which is original paintings by Halsey there. So I'd say, if I'm looking at the formatting here, well, it looks like it gets, I was going to show like the difference between how much of the book is photos and how much is paintings. Most of it is photos. But then after some of the original paintings, which I won't show all of them, you then get, there's actually only a couple paintings, and then you get to this section, which is behind the scenes by her, I don't know, boyfriend, fiance, I don't know, but the father of her child, Alev. And then you get behind, so the other ones are publicity photos, I guess, or just photos taken on the set from like the set photographer. And then you get some of these behind the scenes ones, which are a little, if not always nudity, there are some ones cleavage heavy, but there is some here. I remember some of these were posted on both Halsey and Alev's Instagram pages, so I've seen some of these before, and you probably have as well. Yeah, so there's only a handful of that. It's mostly, the book is mostly publicity stills with a single-digit number of paintings and then some behind-the-scenes stuff. But let me just pop in the disc and just let me see what the menu looks like, or if it just auto-starts the movie. Okay, so I've muted this just to avoid any music copyright stuff, but I was wrong. So the disc that has the fetus picture on it is the Blu-ray, and the one that is just the plain black with the H4 is the CD. I have the album on vinyl, not CD, so I didn't know that. But I load it up, and you have a very, very short menu after the anti-piracy stuff, and as you can see, the three options are just, doesn't want to focus here, play, setup, and chapter, so no extras to speak of, just the movie in and of itself. Just for sake, these are the setup options, stereo sound or 5.1 surround sound, a ton of subtitle extras. You don't normally see that many extras on something. And then there is a chapter selection, which is this, and so they're not marked by music titles or anything of that nature. So that's what you can expect from the menus. Yeah, so actually, as you can see, I put the Blu-ray disc in the front because I'm afraid it would get scratched up from pulling it out of the pocket in the back. I will say this center push button thing to get it locked, it's a little hard to get it through the hole phrasing, so it takes a little bit of work, so I'm afraid pushing it in and out of there, phrasing, will get it some cracks where it'll make it unplayable, so I'll have to be very delicate with that one. But ultimately, that is the Blu-ray CD set there. I put the CD into my 4K player first, and so the tracks came up, so I do know it's just kind of the regular CD there, before I figured out the one in the pocket was the Blu-ray. But there you have it. So that is the Blu-ray set. I do wish it had either the Moment House performance as an extra, or even on YouTube, Halsey's official YouTube channel had a two-part behind-the-scenes thing that they could have thrown on here as an extra, but I guess they figured adding the CD, which anyone buying this probably already owns the album in some form or another, digital, physical, what have you, but I guess they figured putting that in there, plus the book with all the pictures and everything, was extra enough, kind of similar to A24. I feel like this was almost modeled after this, especially since the movie had some superficial similarities to The Green Knight, which came out around the same time, that like July, August of 2021. But yeah, that's it. So anyone who is just interested in what this very expensive Blu-ray book CD collectible looked like, I believe it is limited edition. I did see somebody tweet from her store, like officially, that once this, I don't know what the number it was limited to was. I don't know if it's 10,000 or 20,000 or 5,000 or whatever, but once this is gone, it's not going to be reprinted. But my guess is they'll probably come up with another super duper special edition at some point, because that's kind of how these things work. But anyway, thanks for looking at this random Halsey unboxing, and I hope you have a good one.